Well, hey folks, Cumberland Outdoorsman here with you again, and today is March the 5th, and what I'm doing is I'm going to do a little scouting back here. This is on public ground, not 2 minutes from where I live, and it's a wildlife management area, and what I'm scouting for is wild turkeys. Now, I've harvested a few turkeys here in the past, and you're not supposed to use any kind of turkey calls before the season starts, but you can use locator calls. That is legal. And what I've got with me is an owl call, crow call, and coyote call that I've been practicing with here the last couple of weeks, just off and on practice. And what I'm looking for is some tracks, maybe, that turkeys may have left behind, and of course listening for them. Now, they normally and historically I found where they roosted here. Like I say, I've harvested a few gobblers here in the past. Did not hunt here last year. I see where somebody's been back here. I see boot tracks. No turkey tracks though. See some deer tracks and raccoon. No turkey. Now, I did come back here before the season last year, and I got a response from a gobbler over on this other ridge, and I just blew an owl call at him. And as you can well see, spring is well on its way here. These flowering daffodils. Here in Tennessee, they're called buttercups, but you know, that's just a term that they use locally. It's real quiet back here right now. No wind. That's good. So that'll help us to listen. These birds should be flying up about now because the sun's starting to go down there. You can see it's going down over my shoulder here. I used to shoot archery tournaments back here in the past, and I saw signs of turkeys then, and I made my mind up to come in here and do some turkey hunting, and glad I did, because I harvested some nice gobblers in here. So I'm going to sneak around here and go up on this other ridge, this next ridge, and see if I can strike one up, maybe make one gobble. Okay folks, I was coming down this trail here, and I happen to remember this ridge right here comes down into a creek bottom down below us here, down that way. And just over that ridge there, I harvested a gobbler a few years ago. And then last year I heard one gobble right in here. So let me show you here. This ridge comes down into this creek bottom down here, and then there's another ridge over on the other side. I used to hear them gobbling up in there and back that way. Haven't found any scratchings or anything like that yet, but I know there's turkeys here. Blow an owl call here, see if I can get one to respond. Nope. Well, folks, so far I haven't had any luck. I haven't found any scratchings or droppings or tracks or anything. The Cumberland River is right over here. It's just on this side of that far ridge there, and this is a big river bottom here, and there's timber all along the edge here. There's some ducks down there. Try an owl call again. See if something responds here. I'll wait a little bit longer. There's got to be some turkeys around here somewhere. That sound carried all the way across the river, let me tell you. And you can hear turkeys gobbling that far because I've heard them before. Well, the ducks are having a good time down there. There's been mornings where I've been here and I've heard 3 or 4 gobblers right over here, just tearing it up. You'd hear one gobble, then you'd hear the other one, then you'd hear another one. And it could be a good possibility they just haven't moved into this area yet, you know. We've still got about a month or so to go before turkey season arrives. And as temperatures warm up, they could be transitioning and splitting up and moving into these areas. I think they're probably more located around where there's a lot of oaks, you know, red oaks and white oaks. Not many in this part of the woods here because we had a big crop of acorns this past fall, so they could be looking for food there, you know. Anyway, I'm going to head on back towards the truck and try a few more spots. Well, folks, this is the next afternoon since the previous filming, and I'm out here on some public land with a good friend of mine, good hunting buddy. We've been hunting together for how many years now?
Since 99, I believe.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good while. And we've killed turkeys out here before. Last time we were in here, we harvested 2. And we decided to come back because I think these turkeys are feeding on leftover acorns because we had a pretty good acorn crop this year. I didn't get a gobble at the other place yesterday. That doesn't mean the turkeys weren't there. But this has always been pretty much a proven place for turkeys. And I decided to come back here this afternoon, so we're going to try and get a gobble. Hopefully hear some flying up to the roost. So come along with us. Maybe we'll get lucky and find something. There's acorns all in here.
Yeah.
So folks, We're at a location here where I killed my very first longbeard. This was in 1996. Me and an old friend of mine came down here. We had the truck parked right where it is here. And I got out and I hit an old box call, a Lynch box call. And we heard a gobble right here in the woods. And then we took this trail down here and sat under a big red oak. And I was able to call that turkey in and harvest him. It was one of the biggest turkeys I've ever taken. He had 1 1/4 inch spurs and 11-inch beard. You know, a pretty good sized turkey. But what we're finding here is where turkeys have been scratching, there's lots of sign all up and down the road here. And the reason they're here is because these acorns we're finding. That's why they're in here. You know, they're feeding on acorns just like I suspected. And here's one that we found. I cut it open. And you can see the meat inside is still fresh, still good. See if I can get this out. See, that's what they're feeding on right there. But anyway, the conditions are really calm here this evening. We couldn't ask for a better evening to listen for turkeys. And we're way back. It's very remote here. There's no buildings, nothing around here. It's just forest for miles. This is Turkey Woods right here. Always has been. But, anyway, let me show you some of the scratching we found here. You can see right here. And here's the road coming in. How many miles did we come up, you think? About 2 miles, 3 miles?
Probably about 3 miles.
About 3 miles. And we killed some turkeys down, what, about 1.5 miles from here, didn't we?
Yeah.
Over. And right here, you can see that's fresh scratching still in the mud right there, where these turkeys have been scratching. I mean, all this is worked up right here. That's not too old. That's a few days old there. Yeah, some of it is. It's from this morning. That's right. See, all this, I mean, this is right along the side of the road here, so there's no telling going all through these woods just how much sign you'd find. But that one right there, that was really fresh because you can still see the claw marks, like this right here. That's probably this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's this morning. Right there is too.
Yep.
Right here.
And if you look out through the woods here, most of these woods here are predominantly oak of different species. You got white oak, you got red oak, pin oak, everything, you know.
Yep, that's little buckwood.
Yeah, the little buckwood. Oh yeah. They're frequenting this pretty regular, I'd say.
Yeah.
We've killed a lot of turkeys since then, hadn't we?
Oh, yeah. We've had a lot of them.
All through here.
Yeah, this was this morning.
Now granted, a lot of these are hens, you know, that are coming in here feeding. But where the hens are, that's where the gobblers are going to be. That's real fresh right there.
Yep. This one. That one right there. That one right there is probably another day, but.
Yeah, because the ground's still wet underneath.
Yep.
And the sun's been out all day, so it hasn't dried up yet. That's real fresh right there.
You got a planter that's a day or two.
There's a turkey track right there.
Yep.
Right in the middle there. That looks like a gobbler track. That's a pretty big track right there.
Yeah, it's pretty good size.
See, that middle toe is a lot longer than the other two. So. think that's a longbeard right there. I'm just driving down through this country road to do some turkey scouting. I seen him cross the dirt road here in front of me. And now he's just standing there. I'm not sure if that's a Jake or a longbeard, but it looks like a longbeard. Yeah, it is. Get up here a little bit more even with him. Yeah, you can see now he's got. That's a longbeard. Pretty boy. I don't see any other turkeys around here though. We'll let him go. Leave him to his daily activities. And look around here, see if I see any more. Oh yeah, there's another. There's a hen. No wonder he's right here. Several more turkeys down here. I see a hen there. And another one. Looks like 2 or 3 hens with him. Right down the hill. And there's another turkey. Another hen. That's why he's here. Yep. All right. Well, folks, that was the first longbeard I spotted from the road this year. I'm just out here driving around, seeing what the wild turkeys are doing. We're about 2 weeks out from the beginning of the season, so I just thought it would be nice to come out here, just drive around, see if I could hear or see any. And sure enough, there's a nice mature longbeard there with a group of hens. I'm gonna go out here and check the water condition here where I normally go crappie fishing. I've had a lot of rains this past week, and I'm wondering about how the water looks. But I thought I'd drive through this dirt road here, back here, check out the turkey situation. So I'm gonna be doing some more scouting further down, and hopefully we can see or hear some turkeys there. So stay with me. Here's some more sign that you want to look for. This is a turkey dropping. That was made by a hen right there. So my guess was right. They're coming right through here, and I'm thinking they're going right off into this draw up here. Right through here. Check this mud puddle over here, see if there's any fresh tracks. Today is Saturday, Should have been out here earlier this morning. Coyote track there. Check these mud puddles, because a lot of times you'll find tracks where these turkeys walk through. Right there's a track. That's not fresh, but that's definitely a track. Turkey track. Let's look over here. There's another track right there. That's a hen track. All right. I'm going to continue on down the road here a ways. I'm going to leave the truck here for now. See what's over the next rise. Okay, folks, I came off the road and just came down this little dip right here. This is another road that goes on back into the timber quite a ways. I may actually decide to hunt on this side some, because I've never actually hunted over here. But here's another wet ditch here that I approached, and finding some good sign right here. There's an absolute fresh track right there. That's a hen track is what that is. Pretty sure, well, that could be a gobbler track. Looks like that middle toe is longer than the other two, but there's some squirrel tracks. There's some more. No doubt about it, the turkeys are definitely in here. That right there is absolutely fresh. That's fresh scratching right there. And here. Check out up here. See, a lot of times these draws like this, these turkeys travel along these draws and then they come out and they hit these roads like this and they walk down these roads. Seen it many, many times. They like to travel these woodland trails and roads, back roads. A lot of times gobblers, they'll get out and strut in an open spot like that to attract hens. That's why when you get around a bend like this, you need to look, make sure. A lot of times these turkeys will be standing right out there inside an opening on the other side of a road like this. There's another ditch right here. See, there's some more scratching. I can see it already, right here. Right there. Right there. I'm not sure what these turkeys are after, but there's something they're feeding on here along these roads. I know they're looking for acorns as well. There's scratching right there. And when you look, you can see these individual marks, these claw marks, you know, the striations in the mud. That right there is an indicator that's a very, very fresh sign. So you just look here, all along here. Okay, a while ago I showed you a dropping from a hen. This is one from a gobbler right there. They have usually in a J shape, but that one there's broken off. That's the kind of droppings gobblers leave. They'll be more elongated and usually kind of a J shape. Hens leave a little puddle, like a little pile. So for those of you that are getting into turkey hunting, that's a little bit of woods knowledge. See, there's some more fresh right there. See the individual lines, the scratches? That's either done today or yesterday. There's some more dropping right there. That's a gobbler doing that. That's about a day old, folks. See, it's kind of a J shape right there. It's probably a gobbler making all this sign back here. Either a longbeard or a jake or more, multiple birds. Now let's see how fresh that is. That's really fresh, folks. I know it wasn't done 2 days ago because we had a lot of rain. So anyway, I'm going to get back up here on the road and get on back to the truck. I'm going to travel a little further down, so stick with me. Okay, right here some more fresh scratching. And right next to it there's another bit of turkey dropping. That's from a hen right there. And then coming up here, I see some old sign. There's a few turkey tracks there. Some more fresh scratching right there. Missed a little bit of that on the way in here. So anyway, we're heading back to the truck now. So here in this ditch you can see there's some turkey tracks all through here. Sometimes the water helps preserve the track. It usually gets washed out after a couple of days. There's some coming through here. Let's see what's over here. Yeah, there's a track right there. There's a big track. That's a gobbler track right there. Some big tracks in here. Old, a few days old, but still they're here. Well, folks, I've seen enough here in this tract of woods to know that there's a good population of wild turkeys. I haven't heard any gobble, but the tracks that they're leaving behind and the droppings that they're leaving behind and the scratchings and all the other sign that I see, this is a great place to start our turkey season. Things are really quiet right now. Very little wind. This is midday. It's about 12:30 or so. A lot of times you'll see turkeys get out in these open areas like this here. You'll see them running off into the woods. I haven't seen any right here yet, but I guarantee you this is a good place. So I'm going to get on out of here, and there's another place I'd like to check further up the road. So we'll be back with you. Well, good morning, folks. Today is Sunday, March the 21st. Yes, March the 21st. I'm back here on some public hunting ground, and I heard a gobbler gobble several times. Of course, he's not going to gobble now that I've got you on camera, but it was firing off pretty good just over the ridge here. Heard some hens too. Heard some hens cackling. I think they just flew down here a while ago. But coming up this ridge here, I saw some turkey scratching sign all around here. It's rather cold this morning. I think we had a little bit of a frost overnight, so that may have kept most of the gobblers from really sounding off this morning. Sometimes colder temperatures will do that. Well, anyway, I'm going to make my way on up this ridge here and head on back. Crows sounding off there behind me. A lot of times when you're out here scouting for turkeys, or even when you're hunting, and you hear crows calling, or owls, a lot of times you don't need locator calls, you know, like the ones I'm carrying. Gobblers will naturally respond to these calls. I don't hear anything at the moment, but I did hear a gobbler a while ago, just like I covered earlier. And he sounded off, like I said, 8 or 10 times there, maybe more. But I never could get it on camera. He was still too far away. I was trying to get closer to him, but by the time I got up there even with him, he had quit. But anyway, what I'd like to say now is that I appreciate you coming along, appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed this preseason scouting for wild turkeys. I wanted to go in the woods this year and actually bring you along with me before the season starts, and to kind of show you what you need to look for if you're a beginning turkey hunter. A lot of you veteran turkey hunters already know this. Well, anyhow, as I was saying, wild turkey will leave behind plenty of sign, just like any other game animal. And if you know what to look for, just like I showed you in this video, it'll at least give you a starting point when the season arrives. You know, you'll know where to concentrate your efforts to start looking for these turkeys so that you can successfully harvest your wild turkey. Some of the sign that we found were, of course, scratchings. It's something that you want to look for in these mixed hardwood forests. And the way to identify old scratching from fresh scratching is if you see the leaves that are kind of matted down and the ground around it looks dried up, you know, around the scratching itself, then that's fairly old sign. But usually where you find older sign, you also find fresh sign. And if you see the leaves where they're kind of standing up, where it looks like they have recently been disturbed, and then the ground underneath looks somewhat damp, sometimes you can find individual striations where the turkeys are scratching, and also tracks sometimes in the dirt. Then you can rest assured that's fairly fresh sign. You know, that's what you want to find. And if you can see a place where you find old scratching and fresh scratching, that means those turkeys are frequenting that area on a regular basis. And what they're looking for where they're scratching is things like acorns and seeds and small nuts and things that were left over from the previous fall. If you had a good mass crop, that's what they're hunting for. And also, as the sun is warming the ground, you'll see insects start to emerge. You know, things like small beetles and grubs and other little bugs that turkeys will feed on. And they'll concentrate their efforts around places where there's where these insects emerge. And then later, as the season progresses, you'll see hens and sometimes gobblers frequenting opening in the woods and open fields, because what they're looking for at that time of year are things like, you know, grasshoppers and other insects, butterflies or whatever they can find that is a high source of protein. And the hens especially are going to be looking for young green shoots, you know, things like clover and things that are high in calcium, because they need that for egg production. So, you know, you'll see more and more hens out in open fields, and where you see those hens, their gobblers are probably going to be close by. So it's a constant search for these wild turkeys throughout the season. You know, you want to be scouting while you're hunting as well. Some of the other sign that we found were droppings, and I showed you the difference between a hen dropping and one made by a gobbler. A hen is usually a round puddle. You know, that's what you want to find if you're looking for hens, because where the hens are, that's where the gobblers are going to be. But gobblers will and gobblers and jakes will leave a long, usually a J-shaped dropping, and I showed you that as well. So where you find gobblers and hens together, that's a really good place to start hunting. Also, we found tracks, plenty of tracks, and I showed you where to look, where to find these tracks. You know, you go down some of these old logging roads and back roads where there's ditches, especially if you had a recent rain and the ground got wet, those turkeys will walk through that and you'll find the tracks. And I was able to show you the difference between a hen track and a gobbler track. Here I've got a foot from a turkey that I harvested, a gobbler that I harvested several years ago, and you can see that the middle toe is quite a bit longer than the two outer toes, you know, and it's also much larger than a regular hen track. Hen track looks more like a chicken track, really, but a gobbler track is very distinct, and you can see that. You can also tell the freshness of the track by looking at the details. You know, if you see these little individual scales imprinted in the mud or the substrate wherever that turkey walked, that turkey was there very recently. You know, and as time goes on, you get things like wind and rain and sometimes snow that will wash a lot of those details out of those tracks. That tells you there was a turkey there at one time, and I showed you some of the old tracks, but there was also fresh tracks around there. That means, once again, those turkeys are frequenting that area on a regular basis. Good place to concentrate your efforts. So with all that being said, let me thank you for coming along and watching the video. I hope you picked up a few pointers, and especially if you're a beginning turkey hunter, I hope you were able to learn something from this so that you get out right now before the season starts. In most states, the season hasn't started yet. As you go further south, the seasons will start earlier, like in Florida and Louisiana and places like that. And then progressively, as time goes on, the seasons start opening further and further north. Here in Tennessee, it's usually around the 1st of April, the first part of April when the season starts. That's 2 weeks away from now. But let me encourage you, if you want to get into turkey hunting, get out in the woods, start looking now. You know, that way you'll know where to start, you know, at least start. You got to have a starting point. And being able to find the game is stacking the deck in your favor. So get out and start scouting now. You know, I got to encourage you to do that. And it'll get you in the mood to go turkey hunting, get you more and more enthusiastic about it anyway. So I'm going to close off the video here and once again say thank you for watching. I appreciate you coming along. And until next time, remember, if you like to go outdoors, go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, whatever it may be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. And also remember, hit the like button, hit that bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this will be coming your way. So until next time, you all take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there and enjoy the great outdoors. We'll see you.